Welcome back to a repair tutorial. Today I'm just going to show you how to screw up something really bad. Not necessarily fix it. I was attempting to show how to reattach these little vinyl inserts on permobil armrests when they start peeling up and coming off of the edges. And also maybe how to replace this trim piece that constantly breaks on these chairs. But as you can see from all the bits and pieces on the table there, things didn't exactly go as planned. I thought about just scrapping the footage and not uploading this, but I want to show you all how, I won't say terribly designed, but how difficult these things are to repair. And your best option is to just get your dealer or your DME to send replacement parts. As giant flies go buzzing around. Seriously, fly? I wonder if that was on camera. Anyways, let's jump into the part that I filmed earlier and just take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I very quickly realized that most of it is garbage. At least what I'm saying is garbage. I don't know if the chair parts are garbage. You can decide that for yourself. Alright, time for another quick repair video. Again, it's going to be permobil related because all those chairs are pretty much the same. There's a lot of stuff out there and I have a number of them. Also, I got a couple questions about this one. So here we have the F3, and it's got the standard 3G seating with these flip-up armrests. And what we're going to focus on today is these arm pads right here. If you notice, well, permobils have an issue with this outer ring here cracking. And as you can see on this one, well, maybe you can see, let me adjust the exposure. And as you can see on this one, the plastic is sort of broken right here. And also the armrest is, or the padding is trying to like come up out of the armrest track here. So I'm gonna pull this thing off the chair. We're gonna go out into the garage and I'll show you an easy way to fix that. Permobil actually uses hot glue to hold these things together, and these trim pieces come off fairly easily. So I'm gonna grab, oh, they're actually right here, my little T-handle wrenches, these things, and we're gonna pop this armrest off real quick, and I will show you how to take care of that. Now this should also be the same size wrench as the one that's normally in the back of your chair, if it's still on there. But yeah, this side, since the joystick's not attached, it's real easy. Just one screw to take out. So we'll take out this screw here. Hang on, this is not a one-handed thing. Okay, so screw is loose, has that little brass looking washer. We'll want to keep track of that. Once that screw is loose, just pick up, pull straight out, and your whole armrest comes out of there. And yeah, let's go out into the garage. I'll set up a little folding table, and then I'll show you how to take care of this. Oh look, there's a little table thing. And I'm far too either lazy or efficient. I mean, there's a fine line between the two. It's too much work to lift the legs up on this thing, so we're just gonna leave this right here at about shin level today, and this shouldn't take very long. We've got our armrest here. This is where it connects onto the chair. We're just gonna lay it face down on the table. Let me go grab the tools real quick, because I forgot those. Oh, tools. Hang on. Have I mentioned that I get sidetracked easily? So this one bolt right here on the top, we're gonna take this off. And I believe, if I'm not horribly mistaken, that should release the entire mechanism. Great big long bolt, got a little friction washer thing there. And then I think, aha, it all just pops straight off. And it looks like it's covered in like some sort of weird Band-Aid material. That should just come loose. It's kind of a non-stick, slippery surface thing or whatever, but yeah, we'll just take that off. There's a bunch of little clips that go all the way around this thing that separate the, here's the broken part. This little trim piece here is this, you can see it's broken right here. This is essentially held in place with all these little clips that go all the way around. And in theory, if it's not too filled with random glue, or chicken nugget grease in my case, it should come off. Okay, well I just lied about that. So trim piece doesn't come off, but that's okay. We can still make this work. Ignore everything I said up to this point about this trim piece. That's not coming off. We're just gonna take off this pad here. Very carefully take a flat blade screwdriver, push in on these little tabs so that they will then push down like that. You want to be real careful not to pry on these things up here though, because they will just break off. Looks like that side's already released. So we're gonna switch over to this side, push in on this little tab, and then sort of push it down at the same time. And then there's little tabs up here as well. See if we can't get these to release. Okay. Maybe not so much. Plan B, this is not coming apart the way I thought it was going to. Apparently everything is incredibly stuck. Well, I think at this point, since the armrest pad's already coming off, I'm just going to rip it off of there and show you something. I don't know what. I'm just going to go ahead and sort of employ a grip it and rip it thing here. We've got these clips mostly released, and I'm just going to stick the screwdriver in here. There's a plastic piece underneath the pad, and I'm just going to kind of work this all the way around and sort of try to get that out of there. These front clips, however, are very much stuck. Actually, that one's not stuck anymore. It came out. Okay. Yeah, about that. Now, I thought this was going to be an easy repair, but I actually broke this, and it looks like someone has already been in here gluing this thing back together. But you have your little trim piece that goes around the whole armrest, and I thought at first it was removable, but it's clearly not. It's just glued in place. So if this breaks out, you're kind of out of luck, and you probably just have to get a whole new armrest around, which this plastic piece here comes off with these 4 bolts and slides off the rail. Normally permobil sells these plastic housings and the armrest with its backing plate all as one piece. But just to kind of show you what's going on in here, I'm just going to peel this off and you'll see that they did in fact use hot glue to put it together. There, see? Yeah, so I broke this little clip right here. Okay, well, I guess this is turning into a let's see what's inside of it sort of video as opposed to actually repairing it, because I'm sort of mangling this whole thing. So, there you can see hot glue. And if this thing is starting to pull up off of your chair, I'm thinking at this point, hot glue is still really stuck on this end. On this C300 right here, this one's pretty much in pristine condition. You can see that the edges are all still in there, no problems whatsoever. But if your chair, they're starting to kind of pull up, and you can see the edge of this material poking through. All you really need to do is get in there with a screwdriver, lift it up a little bit, get your hot glue gun, jam a bunch of hot glue in there, smash it down with something, maybe a screwdriver handle because the glue is going to be hot. Wait for it to dry, and then just use a knife to trim your hot glue off of there. As you can see here, trying to get this one off, we're definitely making a bunch of wrinkles and stuff in it. But, see? Glue. Yeah, see how it's starting to get all wrinkled from me prying on it? That may, like, the vinyl may sort of like stretch out and smooth out over time. If you hit it with a hairdryer, it might help a little bit too, but I'm thinking at this point, I don't recommend doing this. Yeah, some of that glue is really stuck in there. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab the glue gun and we're just gonna go ahead and glue this section back down to the plastic and then jam the whole thing back in there. And I'm gonna use the black hot glue since apparently this isn't very serviceable, and we're gonna make a little bead to sort of replace this section here, or at least mitigate the sharpness of these corners, because that'll grab your arm and stuff. We're gonna let the glue gun heat up here. This is a Ryobi hot melt glue gun, and I use these black hot glue sticks for everything. This stuff is pretty much permanent on materials like this. But since this is now turning into a hack job, we're just going to glue the schnarf out of this thing and make it functional while you're waiting for repair parts to come, maybe. I don't know. Or this isn't going to be the prettiest repair when we're done, but it should get rid of these sharp edges and keep the thing from flopping up on you. I mean, that looks nice, right? We're just going to basically put a bunch of glue around the edges on this and also in the middle. Have to work sort of quickly. This hot melt glue is pretty dang hot, so you get a little bit of working time with it. But if you're using like a hobby or a craft glue gun, you're gonna have to go pretty quick with this. There we go, that looks like something. I'm just gonna flip this over, press it down. Okay, that seems like it's moderately attached now. Now I noticed before they'd put a little bit of hot glue on the front of it here, just to kind of hold the front in. So I'm gonna run a little bead of this stuff right through the front of this before we reassemble it, because apparently it was there for some sort of reason. Jam this thing back together. There we go. Alright, looks like our armrest is clipped back in now. Just use your flat blade and go around the edges to get that put in there. And since we're already screwing things up so badly, I'm going to go ahead and put a bead of the hot glue right across here. And I'm going to hold this thing so that the hot glue doesn't really try to escape too far. I'm anticipating this is going to turn into a huge mess, but at least we'll give it a try. And I'm going to let that set up, and then we'll do another thin bead. Another thin bead after that has set up. Well, this looks pretty terrible. Well, here's our finished product. Yeah, so it's not very good looking at all, but at least these edges here aren't sharp anymore, and that thing shouldn't keep peeling up. You can see all these stress marks on the vinyl now from manhandling that thing, but yeah, well, let's put it back together and stick it on the chair. And we will slide this back on here. And we'll add our little screw back in. Yeah, the seating on this chair has been used on a number of different projects, and as you can see, there's markings on the seat pan. This seating came off of a chair that I actually got at an auto auction. It was from a van that had been wrecked, and there was a C500 sitting inside of it, and I wound up poaching the seating off of that for this chair. Okay, so now our armrest is back on there. Definitely not the most beautiful repair in the world. You can see the edge of this has had a lot of action anyways, but if nothing else, your elbow's not going to catch on that now, and it looks like some sort of weird oozing thing of gross. But, yeah. I'm not even sure if this is something I want to publish because I screwed it up so bad, but maybe it'll be helpful to show that the stuff's not easily fixable, even though I thought it was. I thought that trim piece was part of the clip mechanism and it would all just come off of there, but it's not. So I guess if you're waiting for replacement parts from your DME or dealer or whatever, just go ahead and get out the glue gun and go nuts. It'll be ugly, but it shouldn't slice your arm up anymore. Bonus content. I discovered another armrest out here that had been scavenged for parts. So I was going to see how exactly that trim piece is connected, or if it even is. Yeah. So it is in fact just glued in here. If you look real close, they have sort of a little detent or recess built all the way around here. And if we snap this piece off, you can see there's little pieces of plastic that stick down into this groove. Like that. So yes, these things are in fact glued on here. You can see bits of the glue and residue all the way around on this one. Huh. Yeah, like I said before, I thought this whole surround piece, it's completely broken off of this one, was built into that part that the armrest is attached to, but in fact it is not. So that's why these things constantly break. When you order a new one of these parts or armrests from Permobil, it's going to come with just this plastic tray and the armrest pad of your choice. They have a few different versions available. There's a nice padded gel one, then there's the vinyl, and they used to have this sort of a cloth one. I don't know if they still do that anymore. But these 4 screws come off, and this plastic tray just separates from the armrest rail. And this is what you end up with. Yeah, this one's pretty messed up. This came off a parts dumpster chair. Yeah, you can see these little tabs are pretty much all broken on this. I'm not sure how much they charge for these, or I think the armrest pad comes with this. I'm not sure. It might be 2 different parts. But anyways, this is the piece that has to be replaced when these little edge pieces just kind of decide to go their own way. And I know people that have to get these replaced on their chairs like maybe once every 6 months. Even people that don't bump into walls. For some reason, they just crack off constantly. It's just... Of course, this one's not going to snap. This one's actually pretty pliable plastic, but anyways, there you go. As it turns out, the Permobil armrests are not inherently repairable. I mean, just like anything else, you can smear a bunch of hot glue in there and call it a day. But I don't know. If you want to attempt to do it, now at least you know what you're up against. You're going to get a lot of broken little plastic clips, other parts. It'll probably look weird when you're done. But anyways, thanks for watching.